Well, this is Ralph Emery, America, and I'm here refereeing a fight between Jim Ed Brown and Helen Cornelius. Or is it Helen Cornelius and Jim Ed Brown? Helen's a little upset. What's your problem, ma'am?
I don't have a problem at all.
To see the outcome of this show, tune in next week for more of the adventures of
Jim, Ed, and Helen. No, you were griping.
No,
Let's bring it all out in the open.
I was just teasing you.
You said, why is it at the record stores that Jim Ed's name is always first?
Well, mine isn't there, period. It's not that his is first. Mine just isn't there, period.
Wait a minute. How are your records listed in the record store?
Jim Ed Brown.
Don't they
and Helen Cornelius.
Don't they have your name out there at all?
No, not in the record racks. It's just Jim Ed Brown, period.
Oh, an extra added attraction, Helen Cornelius.
Yes.
Of course, I don't know, maybe Jim Ed knows. Why do record companies, you will notice that the male partner in these duets always is listed first. George and Tammy,
Right.
Conway and Loretta, that sort of thing.
Well, it's a man's world.
That's true, but we're trying to be nice to you, Helen. Is there a rule?
I'm trying to figure out a...
Really, I don't know why either, but I don't object to it. Really, I don't. I think because women have been sort of made to believe that the man is the head, and of course I believe that the man should be the head of the household too. And I don't want to see a woman president. And so,
you don't?
No, I really don't.
Would you object?
I perhaps if she were very capable, I suppose we can adjust to anything, if she were capable.
Don't you
I
think
don't mean
if she was
that
elected,
way.
she would be capable?
I would imagine so. But I'm just saying that I have been used to men being the leaders in certain areas. So I always sort of, just expected it to be the male first and then the female. So I never objected to it being Jim, Ed, and Helen, as long as Helen's put on there.
What are you eating, Jim Ed?
Oh, the clams are good.
He's not sharing either.
I've been batching, and I have to eat sometime. I really don't need to.
Where's Becky?
Well, Becky every once in a while takes off to Arkansas or somewhere, and she took off and left me by my lonesome.
Oh, bless its heart. It had
Don't
to
you
cook
feel
for
sorry
itself.
for me? No.
You went out to a fast food eatery, didn't you?
Well, you see, I was running late getting out here, and I didn't want to delay the show any.
Well, that's all right. You go ahead and eat and we'll talk.
Okay.
All right, I've got two guests, and both of them have their mouths full of fried clams. So, shall I run solo here?
Well,
Just
yes.
let us nod.
Can we just nod?
I want you to tell me about your newest record. If the world ran out of love tonight.
Wouldn't that be terrible?
It would be awful. Boy, everybody be snarling at one another, wouldn't they?
Well, we do that anyway. But the song redeems itself because, it's if the world ran out of love tonight, these two people who are very much in love will make enough for everybody.
Oh.
They'll keep the factory going.
I see. They're going to put that in a pretty package?
Well, I don't know.
Buy it at your grocery
Package
It
of
would be
love.
nice.
Well, we better stop there.
I think we should.
If that's all you want to say about it.
Well, it's
We'd like to say a lot more.
right, really. We're awfully excited about it. It's one that England Dan and John Ford Coley had recorded, and we were scared to death they were going to put it out before we could, but hopefully they're going to put out something that they wrote. And a young man who is producing me individually wrote this duet, so we're very excited about it.
But mainly we're excited, Ralph, because this is our first record with Tom Collins.
And you have a new producer.
Right.
And he's just super.
And Tom Collins also produces the Barbara Mandrell records
Right.
and the Ronnie Millsap records.
Right.
So you've got a pretty high-powered producer there.
Yes, we do, and we are very elated.
Do you know what first hit me when I heard the title?
What?
Jimmy Davis came to Nashville one year, and he made a speech. And in the speech he said, "Wouldn't the world be a terrible place without any music?" And it has always stuck with me. He went on to say that if you went up to a house in the middle of the night, and it was dark outside, if you went up to the house and you heard people singing inside, you wouldn't be afraid to go in.
No, that's true.
Because you can't fight and sing at the same time.
That's
Can
true.
you?
I don't.
Yes.
Well, we can. We do it real good.
All right, Helen, you've opened a can of worms. No one asked you.
Oh.
No, no. Next question.
No. One time, years ago, Homer and Jethro rode in my car. We were on a tour of the Midwest. And it was fun.
We won't hold that against
It
you.
was fun. But when they got to the town where we were going to play, they split. They each checked in to a different hotel room, same hotel, but they didn't see each other for the rest of the day. And they said, you know, if we ran around all day with each other, we'd get sick of each other. So they said it's healthy for us not to be around each other so much. And I'm wondering if the same thing occurs to you folks sometimes.
Not really. I think probably, your times at home, alleviate that. But our group is a very harmonious group. We enjoy each other. It's sort of like a family, really. Everybody sort of looks out for each other, and I've got 7 sort of like brothers looking out after me on the road. They're all awfully good to me, but we really all get along quite well. And we always sort of do everything together. We go eat together, and, you sort of look for the group. You don't look for somebody else. So not really.
Okay.
Ralph, let me-
That's
your
my
answer.
story.
Stand by. Here's Jim Ed.
Well, I would have to agree with that, except most of the time, whenever we leave here, whenever we leave home, then we are working every day that we're out. If we have some time off, we come back home. And whenever you're working that way, most of the time our jumps are far enough that all of our sleeping is done on the bus, or nearly all of it. And all the time we have is to get to the place that we're working the town, check into a motel, and we'll usually have 1 hour, maybe 2 hours to take a bath and eat and clean up, and make sure that our 5-day deodorant pads are good for another day or two. But, and then go to the place and set up. But we don't have a lot of time in motels, that's very good. And if we do, then chances are she and I are going to a radio station or television or something.
Going out to promote the show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I guess that answers my question. Y'all get along pretty well then.
Part of the time.
Never disagree?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
yes.
I thought this was too perfect to be true.
No, we get along fine. At least we forgive each other. But we do disagree. Doesn't everybody?
You are asking those questions awfully early in the week, sir. Have you ever been to a pig picking?
A what?
A pig picking.
No, it's a pig
We'll
pick.
get into that later. Are we on the air?
Yes, we are.
Oh, excuse me. A pig picking is one of these.
You pick a
Where
pig.
we went,
Pick
where
a
we
pig.
ran into
Thank you, Helen.
a pig picking was down in South Carolina. We did a show, and the fellow that booked us down there came running up to the back of the auditorium with a pickup truck pulling a trailer. And it was one of these little mobile barbecue pit grill type things. He opened it up, and here was a whole pig just been, he had been cut open
Right.
and barbecued. So what you do is he had the paper plates, and he had everything in the back of the pickup, and, everything,
You just reach.
all the other stuff that you needed. You just take a knife, you reach in there, and you get out the part of the pig, whichever part of it you want to eat, and that's pig picking.
Actually, not necessarily a knife. They were just reaching in with their hand, just pull off a rib
Or
or
fork,
whatever.
whatever.
Mercy.
It was
But,
good.
Oh, it was scrumptious.
Like in those old movies you see where in a castle where the king is eating and he just eats with his hands.
And they had hush puppies to go with it, and boy, it was good. And they cheated and got the tenderloin part for me. And girls get taken care of, I want you to know.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. But it was good, it really was.
Is that what they call a pig picking?
Well,
Yeah.
that's what they called it.
Okay. All right. Just hope you don't get there too late.
Well, if you get there too late, you're in a lot of
Did
trouble.
you ever eat any pickled pig's feet?
One time, and decided that I did not want to eat anymore.
I have to agree with you, Jim Ed. I'm not too crazy about them. I got to looking through your records. You really haven't been a duet all that long, have you?
That's
Or
right.
No.
Duo.
We have recorded together
Not long
2
enough.
years.
2 years.
Mhm.
Everything you've recorded has been a hit.
Yes. Aren't we lucky?
I don't want to have to marry you and then saying hello
Saying hello,
and then
then
Born Believer.
Born Believer, then If It Ain't Love by Now.
Okay, that's 4.
I'll
then
never
we had
be free.
I'll Never Be Free.
5.
We had a little Christmas release called Fall Softly Snow.
It was not a hit.
Well,
Okay.
it wasn't out but 3 weeks.
Well,
it didn't have
it
time.
came out rather late.
It really did.
To really catch on. It's awful hard to have a Christmas hit
Mm-hmm.
anymore.
But we've been very fortunate. We've had 3 albums, but we've really only traveled together and worked together for a year and a half.
I think when you were here, last year when you were on the show, we talked about Bob Ferguson getting the two of you together.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim Ed wasn't too crazy about it?
No, he wasn't. I said he acted just like, I was just ecstatic. I was so excited. And he just acted like he's going to the factory to make another pair of shoes. And that was just as excited as he was.
But she doesn't show it either.
Yes, I do.
Why you don't?
But he changed his tune after he recorded and he found out the sound we had. He was just a little bit different when he left the session.
Especially after he saw it go number one.
Yes, yes.
Well, you always know whenever you leave a session, you know, if it's good or bad, and I knew that it was good.
You know, Tammy Wynette did not like Stand By Your Man.
Oh, goodness.
She should
But
have.
she learned to love it.
I bet she did.
I don't know if this story was ever told or not. This is cute. Loretta Lynn is a great lady, and I love dearly Loretta Lynn and always have. Her singing as well as she is a person. But she was, she was coming in to see a doctor, and you know they live quite a ways out in the country. And we were coming in from on a tour somewhere. I don't know where we'd been, but I was driving the bus that morning, and she somehow was in the car right in front of me. And I had been talking on the CB, and all of a sudden, here comes Loretta Lynn in on the CB talking to me. And she said, Jim Ed, she said, I want you to know that you and Helen are going to win the CMA Duo of the Year award this year. And I said, how do you know that? She said, because I voted for you.
Was this last year before
This
you
was
won?
last year, huh?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I was told later on by, I don't recall who, but somebody who worked with Loretta was very close, and she said, oh, Loretta was so happy that you won.
Oh, that's nice. Isn't she
So
a nice
she's
lady?
sweet.
She's a
She's
beautiful
darling.
lady.
Jim Ed, you've made a lot of records for a lot of years. Anything ever happen to you on the way to the session, like almost having an automobile wreck?
I did, but it was not a bad one. I was in a hurry, and I had to go to the bank, I think, borrow some money or something to pay for the session, but no. I have a habit of pulling up to a stop sign and looking to my left, you know, if I'm turning to the right, just looking and going on, you know, sometimes not even stopping if there's nothing coming. And I was in a hurry, and I pulled up. I thought, you know, everything was clear. In fact, I thought the car in front of me was, but he wasn't. So I politely bumped him in the rear.
Mm.
Didn't do a lot of damage or
But
anything.
you were at fault.
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
I sure was.
Very
Was
honest
that on
man.
this session?
Pardon?
Was that on this session?
Mhm.
Oh, well, then this is the same session that I was late and almost got a ticket.
See how much you get if you
That's
just
right.
dig a
Yeah.
little bit?
I remember now.
You were
We
what?
were both late.
She was jumping on me because I was late and not knowing that she was late.
No, I didn't jump on
Did you
you.
get
You
a
didn't.
ticket?
No, I
she's
didn't.
never jumped on me.
But
I
I
shouldn't
was
say that.
lucky that, you know, I was speeding because I got several long-distance telephone calls prior to leaving, and I had to hurry to shampoo my hair and try to get it blow-dried. And I was trying to blow-dry it and talk on the phone, and it just kept ringing, and I was in a hurry, and I was going way over the speed limit when I saw the patrolman, and I just knew I was going to get a ticket. But I didn't, and I was late. And I walked in and said, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm late. And Jim Ed had just got there, and he had bumped into the back of somebody.
All right. And that all happened on this particular day.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes, it
Did it
did.
make you a little nervous?
No, because
No.
Unsettled?
No.
Okay.
The gentleman was very nice to me, you know, and of course I told him, I said,
Obviously,
it's all
the
my
gentleman
fault.
was very nice to Helen over here. Didn't give her the ticket.
Well, no.
Well, we're here trying to get a cup of coffee for Jim Ed and Helen. Jim Ed Brown and Helen Cornelius, America's premier duo. Winner last year of the Country Music Association's award as the outstanding duo. That
Well,
must have been a big thrill.
That was the greatest award that I've ever had the opportunity to participate in any way. You know, the Browns won many awards, and that was great too. But you know, the music business has grown so tremendously within the last few years that that award really meant an awful lot.
Well, it did to me, too. I won a lot of awards before that. I mean, you know, I could type the fastest in my class. And I could take shorthand the fastest and all that. But, no, really, when we won that one, I actually felt like my knees turned to jelly. Really, just like rubber knees. I
Now-
couldn't.
I have never seen her run so fast in my life.
And I got so mad at him because I got up there and here
And
he
I
was,
was-
fooling around in the crowd. And I wanted to get my award before they found out that they'd made a mistake.
You beat him to the stage.
Yes, I did.
All right. Now we've all watched you people who win awards run up there. Then it must strike you at some moment. Now I've got to say something. Or do you prepare these remarks before you go to the award show in case you should win?
It does no good whatsoever.
I don't think you can. Well, I don't know. Maybe some do. I didn't, and I don't think he did. I think it was very obvious. But when you stutter and stammer, or maybe if you have it prepared, you'd forget it. But, you know, the only thing I thought of was I do want to remember to thank the company, you know, our production company, RCA, and the people who have worked so hard trying to help us reach this goal, because that was our goal. Not only were we working for it, but the manager and the folks at Top Billing that we work with were all working towards this goal. And
But it
and-
must be a pressurized moment.
oh my goodness, yes.
It is, and with us, it was even more so because we were the very first award of the evening,
I had just got sat down.
and it really was a pressure award. You want to say thanks to the people that helped you get there, but actually, when it all boils down to it, the people that you thank are the people out there that buy the records, the radio stations, the disc jockeys that play them and play your records, because they're the ones that make the hits, and the efforts of your A&R man, your producer, your record label. If you didn't have those people, then their efforts would be to no avail. But
But it had to be a glorious moment. You're
it
right.
is.
was
It is.
just- I
It's
couldn't believe it. I just stood back there shaking, wanting to squeal. I wanted to scream. Just keep squealing.
Helen Cornelius is sitting over here. I wasn't aware that you typed so well, Helen, or took shorthand so well.
Well,
You must have prepared for an office career.
not really. I just love. I loved everything I did in school. I worked. You know, I could have been a teacher in many fields because it was just a joy to me. Everything I did. I loved my music. I loved commerce, typing and shorthand, and all of that was special to me. But music was just always out first.
When you were in high school, did you have any idea you would follow a show business career?
No, but still, that was in my mind. That was all I really ever wanted to do. I never, you know, I thought about my algebra teacher wanted me to teach algebra, and my band teacher wanted me to teach band. But for some reason, I just couldn't see me sitting in the classroom teaching. I didn't want to be teaching it. I wanted to do it. If there was some way I could have done algebra or done these other things, it would have been okay. But I wanted to be doing it, not teaching it. So that just did not appeal to me, and I'm just really would not be happy other than doing it myself.
I want to ask you about funny stories, funny things that happened to you on the road or at home. And I may not. It's always very difficult. I'll explain to the audience. It's very difficult to say, "All right, be funny," because sometimes our guest can't, off the top of their heads, think of anything funny. How about it, Helen?
The last time I told what happened to me, I haven't heard the last of it. People still coming up on the road and asking me about that story.
You told a story about one time about your most embarrassing moment.
Yes, yes. But
When your halter top fell
down on stage, yes.
and you weren't aware of it.
No. But the thing that embarrassed me the most was that nobody noticed. No, that's not true.
But since you told that story, have you received a lot of flack about that?
Oh, they tease me a lot about it. It shows they'll come up and say, "You've been wearing any halter tops lately?" or "How come you didn't wear a halter top tonight?" But, yes, I still hear about it.
So do I.
But nothing has happened that embarrassing, thank goodness, since. Well, actually, nothing much more could. I don't know what it would be.
All right, how about you, Jim Ed?
No,
Okay.
Ralph. You know, nothing interesting ever happens to me. Now, there's a lot of things happen to her. She,
Jim Ed, if you
she's
if you press me, I'll tell him a few things.
no, but she.
Want to talk
I've been
about that cabin that you used to call
I've been
me
in
from?
the business a long time, and I've seen a lot of things, but now she's new.
You want to talk about that cabin you used to call me from?
No.
I want to hear about this. Let's
Get
go
her
ahead.
to get her to tell you.
No, I want to hear yours, Jim
Ralph,
Ed.
get her to tell you about. And this happened just the other day. Really, we were down.
How come we aren't talking about the cabin?
Oh boy, did you see how you rushed on past that?
I know. That's the only time he wants me to talk. All the rest of the time he wants me to be
We
quiet.
were in Silver
Jim,
Springs, Florida,
Are
the
you
other
frustrated right now?
day. No, not at all. I got something on my mind. I'm trying to get off.
Okay, go ahead. You were in Silver.
We were in Silver Springs, Florida, the other day, and the gentleman that booked us there, or I say the gentleman that booked us, the fellow that was the manager of the park that we were working, brought his wife and his family out to see us, and he had a little 10-day-old baby.
Yes.
Now, this is true. And so it was very hot, and it was one of those unusual days, there. So our bus is air-conditioned. He brought his wife on the bus and introduced her to us. And she had this baby, and I said, well, why don't you just leave the baby in here? And because it was asleep, just set it up, on the couch or somewhere, and because it had its little car seat with it.
And we'll take care of it.
And we'll take care of it,
You said
for
we'll
you.
take.
We'll,
Oh, sure.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
But tell
we'll
where
is,
we went when it started crying.
well, the place that all normal male human beings
ran.
go, But Helen didn't.
You mean the baby
No.
started crying?
Well, yes, and he took off. So I, picked it up and fed it its bottle and everything, and he was coming back just as I was finishing feeding its bottle. And I said, get something to put on my shoulder so I can burp this baby. So he found something and put it on my shoulder, and just as I was getting it up there right to my face, it cut loose with a burp like you never heard out of a 10-day-old baby. And it covered my face, my eye, my hair, and Jim Ed just sat there and laughed.
Well,
What else could I do, Ralph?
is this the point where we say that's show business,
That's
folks?
show business. But it was one of the cutest little babies.
Well, Helen, how many kids do you have?
I have 3.
So you're used to that.
Oh, I'm
sort of
used to
thing.
being spit on, yes.
Hey, Jim Ed, let me ask you something, and I'm sure a lot of people ask you, what has happened to your sisters, Maxine and Bonnie, that you used to sing with all the time?
Ralph, they are doing fantastically well. Bonnie, well, they're still in Arkansas. Now, Bonnie's in Dardanelle. Maxine is in Little Rock or North Little Rock. But Bonnie's oldest daughter, graduated this year from high school. She's still got one more to go. Maxine's 2 boys are now out of high school, and into college, so she's got just the girl left to get out of high school. So they're doing fine. They did come to town recently and record with Tom T. Hall.
They sure did.
And I was just so proud because they really sounded good.
They were on Tom's
The last 2 records, really.
record. Yeah, right.
May the force be with
May the force be with you. I was at that session, and they were really tickled. Jim Ed, back when you were recording with them, this was before the days of the CMA Awards. I know you won a lot of trade magazine awards.
Right.
But I guess you were in a group category then.
We retired right at the time when the CMA started the awards show, the network television awards show. But that was in, they started that in, 66, I believe it was.
Yeah,
Seven.
something
Well,
like
anyway, excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, anyway, I know you won a lot of awards, but you were in competition then with, the Wilburn Brothers, the Leuven Brothers,
Right.
people like that. Because there weren't any other trios,
No, sir, there was not.
You-
Johnny
you-
and Jack was around.
You had the only singing trio.
But it was everything then was put into a group category.
Okay. We have on the program the stars of the television show Nashville on the Road. And
Only 2 of us.
2 out of 3. Jim.
4.
Huh?
4.
No, we got little Wendy Holcomb.
Yeah.
Power.
We can't
Yeah.
forget her.
No.
She's the little girl who plays banjo, and
She's
she
not so
is
little.
really growing up into a
Right.
beautiful lady.
Little Wendy is about 5'7" now, and they don't call her Little Wendy anymore. She's a very attractive young lady.
How old is she?
15.
But I remember when she first came to Nashville in her pigtails and her banjo, and she was about 10, wasn't she, Jim Ed?
Yes, sir.
And boy, I saw her the other night, and she has really developed into a beautiful woman.
Ralph, I suppose the happiest that I have seen her in a long time would have been the other night on the award show with Buck Trent.
Playing the banjo.
Playing the banjo.
On the
And
Music City News Awards.
right.
Right.
She was so elated.
I heard her. I was sitting close enough to hear her say, "Take it, Mr. Buck." One time I had her on Pop Goes the Country with Tom T. Hall and had them play the banjo together. And she's so nice. She said, "Pick it, Mr. Tom." And I'm sure she does that on your show.
She
She
does.
says Mr. Jerry or Mr. Jim.
It's Miss Helen. Everything.
Is that a happy showbiz family there?
Yes, really.
Jerry Clower and
Yes, we really.
Wendy
We
and you
enjoy
and
each
Jim Ed?
other very much. We really do. We look forward to filming, and we just do. She calls Jim Ed her second daddy, and Jerry Clower her second daddy. And she tells everybody that I'm like a sister to her, and I help her when I can. But we do enjoy each other.
you do 13 of these at a time, don't you?
Mhm.
All right, let me say this. All these shows you see on television, these country music syndicated shows, they do 26 a year, and they run them twice, and that completes 52 years. I'm 52. I'm sorry, 50,
I don't know that I can make 52 years, Ralph.
52 weeks.
Right.
All right, that's a year's worth of television. You people do it the hard way. Like when we do Pop Goes the Country, we usually do a maximum of 6 at a time. We will shoot 2 a day. Sometimes we'll do 4 at a time, and still we do 2 a day. It killed me recently. We did 3 in one day, and I thought I was going to die.
You also do it in the comforts of an air-conditioned studio.
That's right. How many Nashville on the Road television shows do you do in one day?
We usually do 3, Ralph, and then we'll end up, we'll do 3 for 4 days, or for 3 days, excuse me, and then we'll do, on one other day, we'll do 4.
Boy, that's
Now-
got to be a killer.
Well, we did 7 one day.
What time did you start in the morning?
We started in the morning at 8 o'clock and finished at 5 o'clock the next morning.
Now, oh, wow. We've been talking about Jim Ed Brown and Helen Cornelius' television program, Nashville on the Road, which you always do on location. And this must present a lot of problems like snakes, mosquitoes,
Well, it does.
finding a place to dress.
You know, we did a song down in Bellingrath Gardens, and Jim Ed and I were supposed to be walking around.
That's in Mobile.
Right, in Mobile. We just finished this, in fact, recently. But we were to be walking around through this lawn and then over to a tree and sort of stop at the tree. And some little old bees were biting me all over the ankles. And I was smiling, trying to sing and keep going. And it was just killing me. They were biting so hard. And I had blood all over my ankle when we finished. And they had to take it over because of, lighting. And they came out and sprayed me like crazy to try to get us through that song.
Jim Ed, when people see your show this fall, and the new season will start in September, your locations will be in Mobile and where else?
Ralph, are we on the air right
Yes,
now?
we are.
Oh, goodness.
I'm trying, despite all that's going on in the studio, I'm just going to keep going.
Okay.
Did you hear the question, Jim Ed?
The question was, yes, we're in, we did them in Mobile. Bellingrath Gardens is a beautiful place.
You
I don't
also
know if
did
you've
some
been
on the battleship Alabama, too. didn't you?
Yes, well, that's
shows
where we
there.
did the shows in Mobile. It was on the battleship, and that was great, under those great big 16-inch guns.
We were talking about Nashville on the Road, the television show that Jim Ed and Helen do with Jerry Clower and Wendy Holcomb, and we were talking about the trials and tribulations of shooting on location. You had a terrible thing happen to you, didn't you, Helen? You, the babysitter.
The babysitter. Yes.
Another babysitter story.
Well,
Just fun.
I like children, and I like to do things with kids. And Wendy and I were doing a little song, This Little Light of Mine, with some kids. And I had a little girl, it's about 2 and a half maybe, that I had carried around for the last, 30 minutes rounding up the children of the right size and age, for this particular song. So we were finally getting, and I'd had her for a long time, carrying her, and she was sitting on my lap, and I was to intro the song. And just as I was saying, Nashville on the Road is proud to be in Gulf Shores, I started getting this warm sensation all over my legs and my long gown, and I kept trying to go on, and the warmer it got, the wetter I got, and finally I just got so tickled. I just said what she did. Like to died laughing. I just fell back laughing, but she soaked me.
How old was she?
About 2.5 or 3.
I see. But see, that's another one of those little stories that tell you a little bit about how show business actually is. Jim, Ed, and Helen and I are just sitting here, and I've been watching a little mini rehearsal here. Do you think we have this act together here?
Possibly not, but ready to try.
I imagine this is the best way to lose about half of your listeners.
No. I think
so?
they'd like an impromptu performance of something that they've never heard you sing before.
Ralph, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make a deal with you. The next time that you invite us up here, I'll bring my guitar, and she can bring her guitar.
Actually,
and we will just,
piano.
about 3/4 of the time, we'll just sit and sing rather than play records.
That's a good way not to get us invited back.
No, I got a feeling that he'll invite us back.
Yeah, I'll invite you back.
Okay.
We'll work that out. We were just horsing around here trying to figure out what they could sing. And I happened to mention an old tune I like very much called Blues Stay Away From Me.
Mm-hmm.
And you've never recorded this.
No, we've never even sung it together.
So
It's first.
Okay, now you want her to sing a little higher, is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Well, she knows where she's got perfect pitch.
Have you got perfect pitch, sure enough?
Pretty close.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
That's a pencil on the table.
Okay. Now, to have perfect pitch means that you can hear any note, and you'll know exactly what it is, right?
I wouldn't say that it's perfect, but I can generally toy around with it in my mind and tell you pretty much what it is.
All right, let's hear Blues Stay Away From Me.
Okay.
What are you in? Blues. Where are you?
Come on, one more time.
Da-da-da. Blues.
You're not with me.
Stay away. That's not where you want to be.
No, because you switched from harmony to melody on me. Once more. It's blues. All right. Blues.
I love it.
Oh, it's a good thing there's no camera on.
Can we do this next time we come back?
No.
It's blues. Stay away from me.
In the rehearsal,
Well,
you
you're
did it
not
so
with
beautifully.
me. You're not with
All right,
me.
I'm going to go on to another record here till we get our composure
Stay
here.
away from
Is that what you want to do? Is he got it now?
Well, yes, but he went to melody, and I can't sing harmony with him there.
If y'all got your note ready.
And now you're about to be introduced to the life of
What?
very famous has-been duo.
No, you can hook it.
Okay, once more.
Here we go.
You just start singing and I'll jump in.
Blues,
Stay away from me.
Bum, 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 bum. That's your part now.
Ba-da-dum. Blues, why don't you let me be? Don't know why you keep on haunting me.
All right. Fantastic. See, I knew you could do it.